Hello and welcome to AZ in the Circle, Arizona Softball Podcast. We are at Club Farrington with Coach Bartlett, entering her third season as Arizona State head coach. Thank you, Coach, for having us out here today.
Anytime. Thank you for being here.
Yep, absolutely. It's a beautiful day, and we're just a couple days away from opening day, which is a pretty big weekend. We'll get into that in a second. I wanted us to hit for the cycle. I'll be in the circle pitching, and so you probably have no problem. And but first, we'll do a quick intro. It's your third season at ASU. Before that, you were an assistant at the Texas Longhorns for a couple years, where you went to the World Series.
We did.
Right, and before that, you were at Ball State, head coach at Ball State. So that was in the MAC, and so you're in the SEC, the MAC. You're in the Big 12 now. Then before that, you won couple championships with the Chicago Bandits back a while, and then you were also played for the Fighting Irish. You were the 2004 Big East Player of the Year, and you ended up Notre Dame's career leader in hits and stolen bases. So I figured that's a lifetime of awesome softball experience that you're going to lean heavily on this season, especially that opening weekend where you open up with the Big Ten, the MAC with Miami, who led the country in bombs last year, then also Minnesota, and then also the ACC with Cal. That's a huge opening weekend.
Yeah, it's big time. We're excited for it. Ready to go. I think the kids are pretty sick of scrimmaging each other at this point, so it's go time.
Good.
We had a schedule.
Yeah. What about, okay, so what do you want to do first for the cycle? Double, hit, triple, bomb?
Let's go with a double.
With the double.
Started the day with a double.
Started the way with double. Coach with a lefty for the Irish, so I probably got you on a changeup, and then I got you inside, so I got you 0-2, and then you ripped an outside pitch. Opposite. Of course you did. It seems that you have a great blend of young, talented team with some veteran talent. And starting with your batteries, because they always say it always starts with the pitching. With your battery, where you have catcher Swanson, who's a sophomore, but really a lot of experience under her belt already. And then the freshman Holtze, teamed up with a veteran ace pitcher in Kenzie Brown. Then you got the two rookies in Krieger and Tipton. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So Cambry Krieger and Julianne Tipton, we're really, really excited about. So certainly to get our ace back, have Kenzie Brown, back on the mound will be a big deal. But she has just been a wonderful, I think, mentor and guidepost for the younger ones. But, this staff is going to be so fun to watch because while they're all very good, and the profile looks similar, they have very different strengths within that, right? Whether it's command or they compete really well, they can legitimately spin the ball both ways, working speed 68 to 70. They can huck it. So it's going to be fun. Like, they compete, they get after it. And they do a really nice job, I think, of leaning on one another, supporting and working well together. Like, it'll be a little bit of pitch by committee depending on matchups, and who we think is just going to have the best ability to win a game that day. And they're all on board and they're ready to go. But we're really excited about the pitching staff.
You said, because I had a plane going by, you said it was going to be sometimes pitch by committee. And say that again, please, about that part.
For sure. Because they have different strengths. Like Julianne, the drop's probably a little bit more devastating than the rise, but she can certainly spin it both ways. It's a plus changeup, right? So she's going to cruise upper 60s, and she's going to force you to make decisions. Quite similar to Kenzie. Kenzie's consistently, I would say, the hardest thrower of the group, but I think Mika might be catching her. But Ken's legitimately can spin it up, down, and then can land a changeup for a strike, right? And really, Cambry's on her way there. Probably Cambry's superpower is that her command is excellent. It's almost like anything. I don't know the last time I saw an 18-year-old, right? To be able to really, like, the joke in our bullpen is that she can hit a gnat in the behind, right? Like when whatever Jared calls her go route, right, has got like 40 different pitches on it because she actually can command the ball, right, within about a hair's breadth or a half ball of where he wants it. So, right, they certainly, they all have different strengths, and they're, ready to pass the ball when needed and set their buddy up for success, and we'll create the best matchups we can. But, I expect all four of them to be ready to handle their business. We're excited about it.
Good. And then going to the lineup, I thought about this. At the plate, you got some veteran power as well, and with Aiden Allen and Kelsey Hall and Acuna and Tanya Wendell. But at the same time, I came here to saw some of your fall ball, and your rookies played lights out. You have Ashley, Davis, and Ho-Chin and Holchi. Talk about the hitters too, and how has that set up for you? Seeing them in the fall, seeing what you had last year, and how has that come together?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Bloomer's done an amazing job with this crew, certainly. But those young ones, they can play. Like, they didn't come here to look cute on Instagram and lose ball games, right? Like, they came here to play in Oklahoma City and chase national championships, and that is the intention those young ones have worked with every day. And they're smart kids and they're smart ball players. Like, we graduated another class of 9, so there's going to be young ones day to day on the field this year, right? But yeah, I mean, Tare Ho-Ching does elite things at second base. Like, she's just so fun to watch play that position. She's instinctual. She understands systems. She just has great reads, right? And she's got great barrel control at the plate, and she can fly.
That's good.
So certainly, you know, even the training she had prior to getting us was exceptional, right?
I remember you spoke about her last year, and I think what you said was kind of in the lines what you just said now. Wow, did you just do that? The movement-wise? I can't. And then you looked at it again?
She ended a game twice, like in a big moment. I think that was deep in Colorado the first time I saw her do it. And I'm like, now I'm kind of watching the dugout. Like, did somebody move her over there? Like, nope. She's just reading timing. She's reading bat plane. And, you know, she does some things that are far beyond her years, certainly.
Great.
And Ashley Mejia is absolutely hammering the ball right now. We always knew that. Ash she's a competitor. She was a very consistent outfielder, which out of a young one is not always the easiest thing to find. But even at this level, like those two in particular, like they just don't get sped up by the speed of the game. You can throw about whatever you want at them, even, you know, offensively, and they're going to find a way to come up with a big hit in a big moment. So,
you got any nicknames yet, like Ash Bash or something like that?
I don't know, but I kind of like that one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's the double. Perfect. What do you want to hit next?
Triple.
The triple.
All good things.
Yeah,
My
all
favorite.
good things. And where'd you hit this triple? Did you rip it down the right field line?
Ooh, definitely the right field line.
Yeah, right, perfect. Now, opening weekend to the season, and we talked about it here at Club Farrington, the Kajikawa Classic. You're taking on Maryland. Miami University led the country in bombs last year, Minnesota and Cal. That's the Big Ten, the MAC, and the ACC right off the bat. What has been the mindset since the team returned from Christmas break towards the opening weekend and the season?
Yeah, it's been all business around here. This team has, from go, like just leveled up. Like the amount of preparation, you know, taking care of their bodies, how to process a lot of information quickly. There's a lot coming at them and a lot of demands on their time, and we're ready to go. The kids are like, can we stop facing our own pitchers, please? Which I get it. Like that can certainly get dry at points, but they're just ready to compete and get after it, and they're hungry.
But if a freshman is hitting Kenzie, for example, or they're hitting Krieger and they know they're good pitchers, does that build confidence in them too?
Certainly, I think it does. Yeah.
And then you mentioned something, the freshmen are ready to go because you're going to team up veteran talent in the lineup with freshmen, and they're going to be thrown into the fire right away. So it's great that they're ready in a way, from what you're saying.
Yeah, we're excited about it. And then, of course, you've got Tanya and Kelsey and Yaya, and, you know, we'll continue to get Yaya healthy. But, you know, Kelsey and Tanya will be ready to go opening day.
That's great.
I know.
The second part of the triple, was from fall ball and now the weeks leading up to the opener. As a team identity started to take place, and what's the standard to being a Sun Devil for you here?
Yeah, it's excellence in all things, right? You sacrifice, you grind, and you, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, you bleed for the people around you. But they don't get to take a rep off, right? That the expectation is that you're going to be challenged, and that whatever the given task is or skill set you have, you find a way to get it done. I don't care that it looks pretty, right? I get no points for pretty. I get points for us executing and competing well. And that is just the intention we've rolled into with every day.
I don't know if it was Coach Dillingham or some coach I heard that said, hey, your best is good enough, but your best is required.
Yeah.
You know, so get after it, go after, make it happen. Don't make excuses. Like you said, I don't care if it's ugly, just get it done.
No excuses, and understand like there's going to be a risk in everything you do in life. I think women become so risk adverse sometimes. Like they want to make the perfect decision. They want to get the perfect swing off. And I'm like, no, no, no. That if we don't get the task done, none of the rest of that mattered, right? So I think some of it is giving them the freedom to make big plays, right? I don't know. Being a bad ball hitter is that thing that exists, right? And you may be a spot hitter and someone that we use in certain matchups, but again, like it's just time to compete and get after it and have a very high expectation for not only yourself, but how we collectively, compete and grind together. And I think this group has been really responsive to that.
That's good. That's good. That's a great triple. All right, so you got the I have it down as a bunt single or the bomb. What do you want to go with?
I did love to bunt.
You bunt?
I did love to bunt. Let's do that.
You're a leader in stolen bases in the career at Notre Dame. That means
save the home run for the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go bunt single. All right. This kind of goes in line with we were talking about just now, what you were talking about. I said lots of sweat, tears, and blood have been shed by the players and the staff over the last 2 seasons.
Yes.
What's your biggest takeaway, lesson learned from those past 2 seasons that will pay off this year for your Sun Devils?
Yeah, I think anytime you go through a year where you are just that injured start to finish and you feel like a lot's out of your control, this is, and I've said this many times, what I thought last year's team did so well, which I thought was an incredible foundation for this next group, right? These young ones to build on. There was no pouting. They certainly could have played the, oh, poor me card and, 2 arms went down early and then we lost. I mean, it's a laundry list, right? Between the knees and the backs and all the things that happened. But there was none of that. Like it was compete, get to it. We still have a job to do. We still have a university to represent the right way. So get up there, do your best, grind and get after it and let the chips fall, right? But those kids were start to finish. They loved each other well. They pushed each other hard, but there was no pity party in any of that. So I think fast forward a year, out of the returning veterans, yes, like there is a straight up fire in their belly about returning this program back to Oklahoma City, where we all know it should be and want it to be, right? And they're working toward that. But with those young ones, it created this atmosphere in the locker room which is kind of important skill in life. There's going to be things that happen that are not in your control. So you better control every piece of your prep, your ability to process, your health. Control everything you can, because there's eventually going to be something that happens that you can't control that we're all going to have to roll with, right? Yeah. So I do think it has certainly leveled up the emotional maturity in the clubhouse, which I certainly appreciate. Yeah. I think it'll pay dividends by the time they're, not spazzing out on the field, that they've already lived the trial by fire a little bit, right?
Yep. And the veterans saw, your pitcher Marissa Scholl last year. After the season, that girl, knee, her elbow, her shoulder, and she easily could have shut it down during the season, but she gutted it out.
She did.
That had to translate, I would think, to the veterans that are coming back this year.
Yeah. I mean, her and just how many innings DJ ended up throwing and handling it with grace, right? Like DJ was brought here to be a middle reliever and a spot work kid for people who didn't hit the changeup well, didn't hit the off speed well. So the two of them, they really, they sacrificed so much with their bodies and a little bit of their sanity, right? Like that was not an easy spot to be in, but they showed up every day. They got after it. They did things with pride, and they were on the grind. But yeah, I think there were so many things they taught, certainly last year's team, but you don't forget that kind of sacrifice and grind moving forward.
Good. I
certainly know these veterans have not.
Good. It's great to hear. I love that stuff. And then the last one, the bomb. Think about this. Let's call it bases loaded, okay? So you're coming up to the plate. The pitcher has just walked somebody. Mm-hmm. So you got to almost have the championship mindset, like this pitcher is due for a strike. So are you already coming to the plate saying, I'm swinging hard? What's your philosophy there?
If I'm being honest, when I was in college, I would be coming up swinging hard. I feel like Deanna's going to be cringing at that comment, like, no, she just walked somebody. Take a pitch, be patient, make sure it's your pitch. And I was just in there. Let's go.
Let's go. So that's what you did. You came up there. The pitcher's feeling a lot of pressure. She has to pound the strike zone. She's got to get a strike. So she just throws it up in there and boom.
And it paid off.
And it paid off.
Granny.
It went over 210, deep center field. Bomb. All right, so your staff, Coach Manley, he's the pitching coach, and he's been with you ever since you got here to Tempe. How fired up is he with finally having a strong, healthy pitching staff to start the season? And then not to mention, seriously talented pitchers. You got Krieger and you got Tipton that you added to your pitching staff. With the pitching talent you have, does one keep them fresh early on with pitching by committee, or do you say, screw it, I'm going for the win, we're going with an ace pitcher? How do you do that? Or how do you make those decisions? How does he make those decisions?
Yeah, I mean, you watch a lot of film and figure out, I think, where your best matchups will be. So, Jeremy is so good at what he does. He won a world championship, right? He chased Summers for 10 years and really got to make a living doing this professionally, which, was even tough to do as in the NPF, right, as a female in the sport. So I think Jeremy has a very clear idea going into a matchup, going into a weekend, how he wants to combo people, how he wants to structure them. Don't get me wrong. If by the time we get to conference and kids rolling, right, they're feeling healthy, they're feeling good, they're getting the job done, we might let them roll a little bit more. In preseason, just to manage arms, manage injuries, making sure they're getting appropriate amount of rest so we don't come up, with a big injury later on. We'll have to manage preseason by committee a little bit more. Yeah, but Jerry is just so good at what he does. Like, I've said this for years, the culture of his bullpen is so special. Like those, right now it's 4, eventually we'll continue to add more than that. But those 4 are extremely tight-knit, right? They believe in each other. They support each other. They understand how and why they combo well and work well together. And he certainly trains them with that intention in mind. And again, they certainly have different strengths. But how he, and for as well as they all get along and really, I think, love and grind and push each other, they're very 4 different personalities. And that's kind of Jeremy's superpower, right? Like, I don't know if it's just pitchers and they're all wonky and their brain all kind of works at this speed. But I think the way he connects with each of them and the way he connects their unit together, I mean, I've said that for years. It's part of his superpower, right? Like,
yeah, like he's the 4 pitchers, like, and because he's been a competitor, he can kind of get inside in the moment and feel like I understand what the pitcher's going through, or I think I can 100%. Empathize with it, and no, we're gonna ride her one more inning, or hey, no, she's coming out, or and then how does that happen ever? When he goes out there to the mound, does you guys talk about it if you're gonna keep her in or not, or you just whatever you want, coach?
Oh man, it just depends on the day and the situation. All 3, I have such an incredible coaching staff. They make my job very easy. There's not a lot of micromanaging on my end. Like, they're here because they're amazing at what they do. I pay them to make the best decision they can, right? And sometimes we're taking calculated risk. And those things are certainly going to pay off more than they don't. But yeah, I trust my people implicitly. So if, I don't know, it's Bloom's like, hey, let's pinch hit this kid. He's got a spidey sense, then we'll go with it. If it's Jeremy's like, yeah, Meg, she's done. We gotta make a switch here. Then we go with it. And the same with Hales. So we
got superheroes and spidey sense.
We do.
Right?
We do.
Good. Who's your favorite? I don't even know if I'm saying this right. Is it Marvel? Is Spider-Man Marvel? Yes.
Ooh, I think he is.
Okay. Who's your favorite Marvel?
Oh man, not a big superhero girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
At Polaris PT and Wellness, we believe that movement is medicine. We believe that as an athlete, you should be performing at the highest level. And so we deliver performance-driven solutions to get you back out onto the field faster. So give us a call at 480-808-4995 or reach out to us through our website, www.polarisptphx.com, where movement is medicine.
And then you got Coach Haley Decker in her second season with you.
Yeah.
She's the defensive coordinator, and she definitely brings the energy, the intensity, the enthusiasm. I'm a big believer in the defense wins championships. So the athleticism on the field looks great from what I saw in the fall. How has Coach Decker, used that to improve her defense?
Oh man, she is so talented. Haley is. She's such a young star in the coaching profession because not only is she super brilliant and can write these incredible training plans, right, and how to build athleticism and build fluidity. And really, I don't know that her defensive acumen at this point knows any bounds. I mean, it's incredible, and it's every facet of the field. But she does bring the energy. She brings the intensity. The girls love her. we love her as a staff and trust her very much. And Haley, certainly being the young one on staff, right, still in her 20s, she has to be the glue, I think, in a lot of ways, right?
So between you,
between us and the kids, like sometimes they'll use some slang and I'm like looking at Haley like, I don't know what she just said to me, and she's like, I'll explain it to you later, right? But yeah, Hales does an incredible job. So happy she's a Sun Devil.
I think I'm behind the times because I just picked up, the word vibes and vibes.
Oh yes, we talk about the vibes quite
drip.
often. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's what you were like, what you're wearing. But I think both those two comments are old, so I'm behind too. So
right.
Don't worry about it.
It happens.
Yep.
The best of us.
Yeah, that's good. And then lastly, Coach Bloomer joined you for the first season as a Sun Devil. He spent the last year 90 miles south of here, out in Tucson, and he brings a lot of experience from. He's been in the ACC, the SEC, the Pac-12, and now the Big 12. Now he's your recruiting coordinator and your hitting coach. His experience, basically from coaching from coast to coast, you think gives him an edge as far as knowing the local talent in the different communities from California all the way to, say, Virginia, and how blessed does he feel with the hitters that have the talent that showed up here this fall?
Yeah, Bloom's amazing. He is honestly one of the best in the business. We met many years ago. He was, I think actually still teaching, right? He was a high school math teacher. And so Bloom is so interesting because with him, it's a depth of understanding so many things, right? It is the biomechanics and the swing and how the body works, but he's a really exceptional communicator, I think, from so many years in a classroom. And he has a high level of emotional intelligence. And I think he just, whether it's reading body language or, temperament, things like that, he's just so engaged with his hitters, right? And he's just, while he's extremely intense and he's extremely competitive and very, very bright, he's very consistent, right? And the girls always know what they're going to get out of Bloom. So anywhere he goes, he continues to build and raise the level, right? But yeah, Josh he's just special. He has a lot of, I think, really real and really unique gifts.
Well, that concludes the bomb. Thank you, Coach. That was a great hit, grand slam.
Thanks so much.
Out of the park. And thank you again for having us here at Club Farrington. This is awesome. And we're going to be there for opening day, just a couple days away. Kick some butt. I hope you have a fantastic opening weekend.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Javier.
Yeah.